Hey, everybody. I had to look at my watch and see what the day was. It is August the 28th, Friday, August the 28th to be exact. And that means it's time for another episode of the Front Row Friday Show. Okay, hopefully you are seeing my screen there. Welcome to the Front Row Friday Show, you guys. It's so good to be with you. I'm so excited about the weekend. I had to put on my weekend shirt because I just am ready for it. I mean, I'm going to be working this weekend because I am in the middle of a big old launch, but it's the fun kind of work. And I don't know. It was a week. Also, right now we are having like torrential downpours. So if I look kind of dark, if it looks kind of dark in here, it is dark in Shaker Heights, Ohio, dark and stormy. Can you hear the thunder? And in fact, sometimes I get weird internet connection when we have a storm. So bear with me. Hopefully, I'm not going anywhere. So if we get cut off or things freeze, reload. I'll come back if I get knocked off. We're all good. Okay. So let us begin. So first, we're going to go through all the social media updates for the week. And you should know that I do a broadcast every single day on Amazon. So if you go to Amazon.com or in your app, your Lexi app on your phone, you just look for the Front Row Entrepreneur flash briefing, and then you enable it. And thank you, Nika, for putting that link up there on the screen. You could go there as well. Maybe we could put that in the chat too, just because that's kind of one of those weird links that's hard to remember. And then what we do on Fridays is it's sort of a rundown of all that news from the week in case you missed it. And then we talk about some other stuff as well. So here we go. Facebook did this study of like 30,000 people to see how things have changed with the pandemic. And the reason I thought I'd share this with you is because these sort of insights might help you in your marketing and as you start to move forward in your business. Some of these are just like no duh, but for example, it says, because people want to be safe, they have done more online shopping. So e-commerce has done very, very well. In fact, I was on a walk yesterday, ran into an old friend who has a children's clothing online business. And she said every day has been like Black Friday for her since COVID hit. She said it's just been unbelievable. So the people in e-commerce are doing very, very well. And if you've ever thought about getting into e-commerce, maybe now's a good time. More people are turning to calming recreational activities to counter the stress. Also kind of a no duh, right? But it's interesting to see that they interviewed 30,000 people and those 30,000 people said that explicitly. So yoga, meditation, mindfulness, Tai Chi, Qigong, doing not crossword puzzles, maybe crossword puzzles, jigsaw puzzles. And it says that the pandemic has brought communities closer, leading to an increase in support for local businesses. I think we can all affirm that we have seen that. And this was kind of interesting. It said the pandemic has solidified Gen Z's support of causes. And it says more people are relying on messaging to stay in touch, including with brands. Okay, not earth-shattering stuff, but news nonetheless. So Facebook has unloaded a whole bunch of new updates for their e-commerce tools. Speaking of e-commerce, which is going to give you more ways to connect with your customers through Facebook and Instagram. I mean, I know these screenshots aren't that easy to say, but what you need to know is that Facebook is rolling out a new shop tab in Facebook. And I mean, they already have a shopping tab, but this is a new shop tab. They've also added checkout on Instagram to all US businesses and creators. They're also adding some new customization options for their shop displays. It's always better to have more customization options. We all know that. So there's new design layouts for single products or groups of products. And they've added a new message option to their shop displays in order for your customers to connect with you directly. So all the notes of these of everything that I'm going to, and when I mention that I'm going to give you a link to the article to read more, those are in our free online classroom, The Front Row. If you're not already a member, go to frontrowclassroom.com, look over in the files section, and you'll see all the slide deck for this and all the links to the resources and all that good stuff. Okay. I put this in here because I was like, what? Facebook announced a new update to their whale with a capital W. So that's the name of it, their whale meme creation app. So I didn't know they had a whale meme creation app. But if you're a fan of making memes, it's called Whale. You could download it, and they've added updates. So there you go. And then couple things here I found very interesting. And it is important that we pause here for a moment and maybe put the emphasis today. I think of all the news I have, maybe the emphasis today, the exclamation point goes here, and it's about messenger rooms. So I feel like every week I'm talking about messenger rooms, and every week goes by and I never use messenger rooms. So put in the chat if you have used messenger rooms so far. I don't even think that I have experimented with messenger rooms. But you're seeing that messenger rooms are everywhere. And that's because Facebook really wanted to take a bite out of this ginormous market share that Zoom has acquired since COVID, right? And they're like, hey, we can do that. So I think they're disappointed with the showing on messenger rooms. And I think we're not using messenger rooms because we've all, we're creatures of habit. Zoom works just fine. It's the industry standard now. Even outside the industry, our kids are using it. Our families are using it. It's like Zoom has become like the way we talk about Kleenex in relation to tissue. Okay, so Catherine says she's used it. She's used rooms once. Maybe I turned it on one time, but like there was nobody in there. And anyway, the thing is, they've got all the features. They can pretty much match Zoom point for point. But here, what I'm going to mention is there are some things that they're doing that Zoom really can't do. So let me just get to what I'm trying to say. So in addition to custom backgrounds and AR effects, which I find all that kind of stuff just fun for a minute, but like distracting if you're actually trying to have a conversation or a meeting. Lots of ways to customize, use a green screen effect with the photos from your photo roll if you're doing it on your phone. But here are the updates. So rooms that you've been invited to are now going to show up at the top of your chats tab in your inbox. The ability to create a room is now found front and center in your chats tab, and you can create a room with a default, suggested, or custom activity, set a future start date, and customize your audience selection. Okay, stick a pin in that. We're going to come back to that in a second. You can view, join, and edit the rooms that you've created. You can also invite more people to a scheduled room and delete a room that you don't want to be active anymore. And you can send notifications to ensure your invited friends don't miss out. Those are the two things. We're going to talk about that and the one before. So set a future start date and customize your audience selection. Oh, wow. That is great. And the other thing the other reason we have to pay attention right now is because Facebook is going all out on this. And we've seen this before with live streaming when it first came out, when native video first came out, they got behind it 100%, and they want us to. And when we do, what happens? They reward us, right? So it's really in your best interest to start thinking, how can you start incorporating a Zoom room into your day-to-day stuff? So if you can add audience selection, whoa, doggy, right? Like you can actually target people who you want to come and invite them through like broad audience targeting, right? So I haven't experimented with it yet, but that's got huge potential, and that's on my list of things to investigate this weekend. And then the part about sending notifications. It is always about the notifications. And in fact, whenever you're going out of your way to do something on social media, you should always be asking, like, how am I going to get this to show up as a notification? Because as you know, being bombarded with so much stuff and so much news and so much content, it's the notifications that matter. And so, because you might be doing great things. Your room might be the most fascinating room in the world. But if nobody knows about it, like, who cares? It doesn't matter because nobody's going to come. So I bet you that they're going to make sure your friends get the notification if you invite them to the room. Now, if it's friends, if you can only invite friends, people who you are actually friends with, this goes back to, all of you guys who have been with me for a while. This is, you probably have this memorized by now, but I'm a huge fan of creating a Facebook custom list. And if you let me know in the chat that you want me to show you how to do this, how you can separate people who you don't want to see all your personal stuff, who you only want to see your business stuff, let me know in the chat, and I will, at the end, we'll do a super quick training on how to do that. But so I'm going to move on, and we're going to breeze through all the rest of the news. But I just wanted to say it's time to stop and take Room seriously and see how you can use it to get some leverage. Okay. Get some lots of eyeballs on your awesome content. All right. We knew this was coming, but just a reminder that if you use Audience Network in your Facebook ads, with the new iOS update and Apple, they're basically going to lose all their effectiveness. Thing is, you probably haven't been counting on Audience Network as an audience in your Facebook ad targeting for a while now because of privacy laws and stuff. Their efficacy has really kind of gone into the toilet. Okay, Twitter has been around for how long? I don't know. And they thought, Facebook lists. Oh no, this isn't that slide. This is the one that is telling us about DM requests. Kind of a useless update because do you even look at your Twitter DMs? They're always spam, right? But what they've done, and this is good, is that if you get a DM in Twitter, you're going to see more about that person without having to click on their profile. It's going to give you a nice summary so you can instantly delete them or take your time deleting them. But chances are you're just going to delete them. Twitter's also experimenting with a simplified quotes listing, which is going to replace the retweets with comments note on the main screen. So some of you are now seeing the new quotes count as opposed to the retweet and comments display under your tweets. Again, that's not really a huge update. Okay, now this is about the Twitter list. So, Twitter's been around forever. And I have been jumping up and down about the magnificence of Twitter lists for years. But this week, Twitter thought, you know what? Let's make a list of some tips on how people can use Twitter lists. I'm just kidding. I'm sure they've done this before, but Twitter lists, you guys, really are great. They only list 4 tips. They say use Twitter lists to keep your competitors close, showcase Twitter all-stars, connect with peers in your segment, and consolidate your industry news. Those are just 4 ways that you can use lists, but there are many, many more. I've got so many trainings on Twitter lists, but if you don't even really use Twitter much, or you just use it as a way to stay on top of current trends and news, you have to be using Twitter lists. Otherwise, Twitter just doesn't even make sense. So we're going into the TikTok segment. I wish I had some soap opera music to play when we enter this part of our chat. And y'all, it is just, I really think, you know how Facebook, the movie, The Network was like such a big deal and whatever, it was like a blockbuster hit. I do think that there will be a movie about TikTok because what is happening is just so dramatic. I mean, I wish I was a fly on the wall. I mean, because it is crazy town. But anyway, they're suing. They announced last week that they are going to sue the U.S. government because the U.S. government, basically said you have to sell to us or we're going to make you obsolete and you're not allowed here. And so they came out and was like, well, we are going to sue you and we're not going anywhere. And in fact, we're going to create some merch that even says that. And you guys and all of our TikTok supporters, because boy, crazy, not crazy bad, but like intense TikTok fans, people who love TikTok, really love TikTok. And now you can buy merch to just show the world they're not going anywhere. And then right after they announced that, the new CEO, Kevin Mayer, resigned. And now there is word that retail giant Walmart has taken an interest in acquiring the app. So if you haven't been following along, it's like Microsoft was maybe going to buy it. Twitter was maybe going to buy it. I mean, it's crazy. And now Walmart's looking at it. It is just weird. Okay, YouTube, if you guys edit videos in YouTube, in the YouTube studio, you're going to be happy about this. Not a huge thing, but again, every little new feature that they give us, new tool in editing is always helpful. This one is going to help you to add better blur effects, like more shapes in order to blur out faces or names or phone numbers or whatever. I'm a huge fan of the blur. Pinterest says this kind of goes back to the study that Facebook did. I find it interesting is that they have said that they have seen a major resurgence in travel, meaning people are pinning about travel, like they're creating pins about travel, but they're searching about travel. They're dreaming about travel. Like, of course we are, right? You could guess that that's the case. You don't need Pinterest to tell you. You could have guessed, like people are probably dreaming about that. But it's a prompt for you to think about how your customers might be thinking right now. So maybe you have a business that is really, has had to slow down because you are an experience-based business, right? Like, you know, I have so many friends who have businesses that require you to be in person, tour guides. I have a friend who has a Lego studio, a gymnastics studio, a yoga studio, all those sorts of things. They're experience-based, but people, like, we're so hungry for it. We are dying. So if all we can do to experience it right now is to be like aspirational about it and just start pinning, you know, creating our little scrapbooks, this is really an opportune moment for you, because you can tap into that and be building your audience and getting them excited for the things that are to come. You know, that's not a remedy for everything, but it's something, you know? So it just had me thinking that, like, yeah, like you go with your travel business and get people dreaming, get them on board. And, you know, with travel, people can start planning a year out, I think, as long as you offer them a warranty, right? Okay. Again, everybody wants to try and be TikTok. Everybody is creating their short videos, 15-second videos. And now Google Discover is jumping on board. So if you have an Android, if you look over to the left on your home screen in the Google app, you'll see Google Discover, and that's where these little short form videos are. If you advertise with Google AdSense, good news for you, because their reporting dashboard has just gotten a whole lot better. I'm not going to go into all the ways that it is better, but I've got that information for you in frontrowclassroom.com. And now is the time when we talk about our book shares. So every Thursday, the members in the Front Row share their favorite personal development or business development books. And I always get a lot of good ideas from this. So we're going to start with Tara suggested Denise Duffield Thomas's Get Rich Lucky Bitch. And you'll learn how to unlock your hidden potential for abundance and upgrade your life forever. Then Chillpreneur, also by DDT, same author. And this one is Feeling Burned Out, Sick of the Hustle and Grind Culture. There's a better way. Get over your perfectionism and embrace the flow of the Chillpreneur. And then Crystal has given us, I don't know how to say that, Conative Connection by Kathy Colby. The best-selling book that offers the first real insight into why we do the things we do. She explains how to harness rather than work against the tremendous power of our striving instincts. And then Thinking Fast and Slow was Sandy Forbes Taylor's submitted this. Thinking Fast and Slow shows you how two systems in your brain are constantly fighting over control of your behavior and actions, and teaches you the many ways in which this leads to errors in memory, judgment, and decisions, and what you can do about it. That sounds really interesting. Okay. And this podcast, my newest one, was recorded while I was on the road taking my son to college. Update on that. He's at Tulane in New Orleans, and the school has just gone like, I don't know that there's another institution that has done what they have done with like brand new buildings and all that. But having said that, whether or not they're going to be able to pull this off, he's there in the dorm, like going to school. It's been like a week and a half or something. And I just texted him this morning. He said, we're all healthy, meaning his roommate and suite mates, and everybody's fine. But I just am holding my breath, hoping they can make it through to Thanksgiving. But anyway, I didn't want to get in a plane. So we drove 15 hours to go to college, and I wanted to take my time because, right, like it's my oldest kid, and it was like having to say goodbye to him, that college drop off, the way it was when he was a freshman. He's a sophomore now, but it was so, being all cozy over COVID, it was just like it was like ripping the Band-Aid off again. So I wanted to take my time, and I'm in the middle of this humongous launch, which I'll mention in a minute, of course. But I was only able to do this because I have an amazing team, and I could go on the road and I could take my time. We took 3 days down. I stayed in New Orleans a few days, took 3 days back, and I wasn't sweating it at all. Money was still coming in. The business was still running. The launch was being taken care of. And so I talk about that in this podcast, and it's all about having a team of virtual assistants can really make all the difference in your life and in your business. And what I decided to do was I have this pop-up group that coincides with the launch, where I've been doing all these trainings. So pop-up group is a temporary group. And when people join the group, like when you join any Facebook group, they answer questions. They answer a question that says, do you have any questions that you'd like answered during this training? Something like that. And so I have, like about 1,500 questions. I did not do all 1,500 questions. It's a pretty short podcast episode, but I did take the ones that I thought were reflective of the group as a whole, and went through those and just sort of rapid fire answered those questions. So their questions might be your questions as it relates to like, how do I know when I'm ready to hire a VA? Or, what if my business is a hot mess on the back end and I wouldn't even know how to show somebody what to do? And what if I don't know how to teach them what it is that I need? Can you give examples of your processes? Stuff like that. So check it out. Nika has the link. Well, it was up there. It's episode. It's Jen Lehner. What was it? Thank you. JenLehner.com/057. Hey, and if you would just please leave a review over on iTunes. I don't do such a great job as asking for reviews, but when you leave reviews, it matters because more people will then see the podcast. They don't make it easy either. You have to click like 42 different times to get there. But if you would do that, that would be great. And speaking of nothing, Front Row VIP is open. That's my membership site full of trainings for online business people and any business person who really wants to grow their audience and reach more people, make a bigger impact. We talk about productivity, systems, marketing, all that good stuff. So lots of pre-recorded trainings, 2 live laser coaching sessions every single month, and a guest expert every month. And this month we've got Pam Sterling, who's going to be talking about creating your unique branded process, the key to differentiating yourself in the marketplace. And I got to tell you, the reason I asked Pamela coming, because she's a coach, she's a general business coach, and she's really, really good. And, but she's not known for like creating frameworks. Like that's not necessarily her thing. And I know kind of a couple of people who it is their thing, but it was Pamela that I went to because we had talked about it, and she knew so much about it, and she does teach it to her clients, that I was like, hey, I hired her. I was like, can I hire you to help me create my framework? This was a couple of years ago. And she took me through this process, and it was so good. Some people are just good teachers. So she's a really good teacher. She's got really good energy. So I'm so excited that she agreed to come and do this for us, because, so many of my clients, the thing is, you already have a system, probably. I mean, there's a way. You may not call it a system or a framework, but there's a way that you go about doing things, or you teach other people to do things. Naming it and putting things in buckets, and it's great for marketing, right? For you to have your pillars, the Malavidov pillars the Nika Stewart framework. I don't know, the Stewart protocol. It's like, it's really good for marketing, and it's also really good for teaching because it allows you to sort of segment things into categories, and it's just wonderful. So, okay, there. Now it's time. Speaking of the big launch, what I'm in the middle of right now is my program, FrontRowCEO.com. The doors are open for a little while longer. For those of you who a long time ago took my virtual assistant course, this is not that. This is so much more than that. This is so developed. There are templates that take you through the entire process of hiring, how to find the best people, then how to vet those people. And I made the whole system pretty much semi-automated so that by the time you get to the interview process, you only have the right people on that interview. That's just the beginning. So hiring the person, finding the person, hiring the person, then training the person, onboarding the person, working with that person day to day. And when I say that person, we are talking about the person who is going to be with you for years and is going to help you build your business. So if you watched my live stream yesterday with Heather Alashea, she took the program, and April Pertwee, she took the program. And what they did was they ran through the system one time to find their perfect match VA, and every time after that to build their business so that they were able to basically turn the engine on and do it again. But this time their VA ran the process. So they had to run it one time, find that perfect person, then that person learns the system and they grow the business that way. So they hire the second person and the third person, or any specialist you need. So beyond the general VA, maybe you need a graphic designer, a copywriter, a SEO person. The VA can actually run that for you. Now you step in at the interview process, but that's fun, right? You just show up with these 3 great candidates or however many, interview them, and then put them into a trial week. And we show you literally, there's a script for every email that has to be written. There's a checklist for every step along the way. There are flow charts so you never get lost. Like, where am I in this process? And the bonuses are ridiculous. Some I'm not going to tell you about now because I like for people to join my course and then I get to surprise them. And then I get this reputation for being this like person who surprises and delights. So I'm not going to tell you about the stuff you get once you get in there, but the bonuses that are right up front on the outside are, we give you Front Row VA. What is Front Row VA? It is a course that we created for your VA. So how about this? When it's your graduation bonus, when you get your VA, we gift you with this course to give to your VA, and it trains them on all the fundamentals that they need to be on the same page with you for everything that you just learned in Front Row CEO, number one. Number two, that training beyond the tech stuff has some really juicy, there are some really important, juicy conversations that happen that you may not want to have with your VA. We have that conversation for you, right? Like, we talk about trust and honesty and communication and so many things that that need to happen, but sometimes are just a little bit uncomfortable to happen. So that you get that bonus, okay? A complete course for your VA. Then you get, at the end of the course, you get access, you don't have to finish the course. I think it's like right around module 4. We open up every single system that we use in our business and we give you templates. Okay. So you literally can take our template. So if you choose to use our Trello template, it's a template of all the systems that we use in our business. And you can just copy and paste it into your Trello account and you're done. Anything else? We still have a couple of planners left. That's for full pay. So if you pay in full, you will get and hopefully I'm saying, Nika, if we don't have planners left, let me know, but I think we have a couple left. You're going to get this luxurious planner. If you want to know more about the planner, you could go to frontrowceo.com/planner. And there's a video all about it, but it's more than a planner. It's a system. It's a hard copy. You get the digital course that goes with it, and it gets shipped right to your front door. And any bonuses, you know how like when people launch, you see them go, and I've added another bonus, and I've added another bonus. Don't wait to the end to see like what bonuses I'm going to add, because any bonus I add from this point until the cart's closed, you're going to get those too. So anything that gets added on, if you purchase today, that gets added there too. We still have the free training happening in that pop-up group I mentioned. So, and I'm going to continue to be doing training there for the rest over the weekend. Some really good systems trainings and all sorts of good surprises. We're giving away giveaways, prizes, so many good things. So make sure you join all four of the videos in the training series are now available, so you can binge watch those this weekend. Get active in the group. I am completely 100% available this weekend by phone, by Zoom. We are here. Okay. So if you have questions, now's the time to answer, to ask them so that I can jump in and help you. And let's see, let's go back to some of our comments from earlier. Yes, Nika, so many updates this week. You know what, to be honest with you, this week wasn't, you can rewatch. I think my favorite thing was the emphasis on rooms. So if you saw what I said about rooms, I think that was the most interesting thing this week. And yes, great. The blur feature, great for blurring out children's faces, phone numbers, addresses. Speaking of movies, this one will be good. What is that? And Elizabeth says, I used your Twitter list tips from your course, Bird Nerds, eons ago. That was eons ago. But you know what? But that's one of the trainings that I could probably, I wouldn't have to update, other than the fact that Twitter lists like look so much prettier now that you can brand them with like a little like banner, and I think they're alphabetized now. So a few changes, but the fundamentals have stayed the same. Thanks for the shout out. Let's see. Front Row CEO walks you through. Thank you so much for the testimonial there, Nika. And Nika says, I would love to try rooms for group meetings instead of going outside of Zoom. I just think, like there's so many probably like real hidden nuggets and benefits into using Zoom, just because so much of our network is, rooms, so much of our network is on Facebook. So now we're using a tool that is integrated with our social and our network. And so it really just makes sense. So, maybe we'll even do our next, I'm going to try that out. Maybe we could even do our next VIP strategy call in rooms. I guess the only downfall there, the room you could save for forever, but I don't know what the deal is with the replay. That would be the big thing. And so that movie was The Social Dilemma from Tristan Harris of Center for Humane Technology, documentary that should be like The Great Hat, but better. Yeah, I'm going to check that out. They were pretty basic and boring, weren't they? Yes, they were. Oh, Twitter lists. Yes, they were. But always fantastic. Not boring, but just they were basic. Okay. So what did I say I was going to show? I have all my old timers here, so I don't need to show you how to use the friend list thing, but I'm going to wait just a second and I'm going to see if anybody would like me to show them how to do the custom friend thing, the custom list on your Facebook profile for your friends. Thanks, Elizabeth. I do love it. I got to say, I'm very happy with this particular program. Okay. It doesn't look, I have no takers. That's fine. You didn't hurt my feelings. Really. Just kidding. Okay. So that's it, you guys. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Stay safe and have a good time. And don't forget to join our pop-up group where we're definitely having a good time. And if you have any questions at all, I don't have my phone number to put up on the screen, but you'll see it everywhere because I want you guys to call me because I've carved out the time for it. Okay. That's it. Have a great weekend. And I'm trying to find my cute little video. That's it. See ya.